Hello again. Take this off. There's no one nearby. Well, I'm down in Gig Harbor, Washington. It's just a little bit west of Tacoma. Got a little break in the rain. Hopefully a little bit of sunlight today, so I'm out looking for something to paint. I was in the mood to paint spring blossoms or some boats at a marina, and I found this little place online. Looked interesting, and I hadn't been here before. It's a little tiny park, Eden Boat Park, near the old Gig Harbor boat shop. Pretty little place. I'm gonna walk around here a little bit and see if I can find something to paint. This little scene is pretty. I love that old shop out on the pier there. Neat geometric shapes, that'd be fun. I could also include some of those boats. That little dock as it walks out into the water. Little sailboat out there coming in. Beautiful scene to the back there, that forested hill. And as the day goes on, hopefully these clouds will break up a little bit and throw some interesting light on that scene. I want to walk around just a little bit more though, see if there's something else that looks good. It's nice and close to my truck, so I could do a little larger painting today. It's a little tiny park. Nice grassy area. Could come back here in the summer and have a picnic. Lots of goose poop or duck poop or something in that grass. Looks like there's a public restroom nearby. That's always nice. Historic Eden Boatyard. That's kind of cool too. These rails leading down into the water makes a neat graphic pattern. And those boats in the distance there, those are really pretty. Those would be fun to paint as well. There's some geese. I bet those are the culprits for the poop in the grass over there. There's lots of potential here. Lots of things to paint. Beautiful little area.
Hello.
Hi. What a cool old building this is. Looks like they're renovating it. Make a wonderful little restaurant. Well, there's a lot of pretty spots to set up and paint here. Lots of places to stand. Really interesting stuff. I want to walk around a little bit, take some pictures on my iPhone, and take a look at them, see what it really strikes me as a strong composition, and then I'll get set up. Alright, well here's where I'm going to set up and paint. I really like that old boat shop on that pier. Those old treated logs with crustaceans and moss growing on them. And I like how that pier is kind of leading out into the water. There's lots of interesting shapes there. So I'll get set up. I've got the image kind of cropped on my iPhone, so I have a quick guide. When I'm painting plein air, I want to move quickly so I don't worry too much about the composition. I have the 1/3 lines sketched on the panel just to quickly help me so that I don't put important things out too close to the edge. When I'm painting in the studio, when I have a little more time, I'm a little more careful. I don't quite follow the 1/3 line rule. I more go by the dynamic placement, which is closer to the golden rule, but that takes a little more time than what I want to take out here. What I like are these interesting lines and shapes. I like the reflection in the water. So that's really what I'm going to focus on, the interesting lines and shapes of that old building, the reflection of the building in the water. Maybe a couple of those boats out on that dock, but not many. I'm not going to try to capture too many of those boats. That would be a subject for another painting. I'm going to try something different this time. I'm going to try a couple things different this time. I'm going to go with a little larger panel, a 16 by 20. It's the largest panel I've used outdoors. I'm also going to skip the charcoal sketch. I'm just going to sketch with a brush with a little bit of paint on it, and then move directly from there into the turpentine wash. I'll probably sketch in burnt umber, since I'm seeing a lot of burnt umber in the scene. As always, thanks for joining me. If you like these videos, please like and subscribe. Alright, there's the basic sketch in. Just a little bit of burnt umber and about a number 6 filbert, just to get the big shapes in. Now I'll do the turpentine wash. As you can see, it's not very detailed. It's just kind of give me a guide so that I keep the composition the way I wanted it, and so that I maintain some perspective. And then for the wash, the background hill, I'll probably go with a burnt umber. For the building in the foreground, I'll go with a yellow ochre. These are kind of the tones that I'm seeing shining through the direct color. So if I had to leave parts of the painting exposed, unpainted, then those are kind of the colors I want to go with. And I tend to go warmer and higher in value with the underpainting. For the foreground, the reflection in the water, I'll probably go cad yellow again, since it's a beautiful green, but there's a orangey glow beneath the green. This wash for the sky is just a little bit of cerulean blue and alizarin crimson. I'll go ahead and bring that down into the water as well, where the water's reflecting the sky. And then as I move into the foreground, little beach area, I think I'll go with a burnt sienna. There's a nice warmth to it, but not a red, more of a brown. And then for the moss on the beach in the foreground, I'll probably go back to cad yellow, that orange again. So just a few colors. I don't want to go too crazy with the underpainting. I just want to cover the panel quickly, kill the white, and set up a little bit of a value pattern. This is a new little tool. It's a squeegee, a Torre squeegee. I got this hint from Charlie Hunter, who's an oil painter. He uses these a lot in his architectural drawings, paintings. I thought I'd give it a try. This is my first time using the squeegee, so I'm just kind of playing with it. It works well to create a hard edge or a straight line, or to wipe away a large flat section like the roof of that boat shop. If I need to, I can brush on a little bit of turpentine to loosen the paint back up again, and then it wipes away easily. Okay, there's the turpentine wash in, and you can see I tried to keep some randomness and some abstraction there by splattering and blending and erasing back here and there. Looking for some happy accidents, some things that I like that I can leave in the finished painting. What a nice spot. The light staying pretty consistent. It's really pretty quiet. There's a little bit of road noise, but not too bad. I'm going to take a step back from my painting now that I have the wash in, and have a cup of coffee and just make sure I like the arrangement of shapes. I'll go ahead and now start to mix up the background colors. I'll start with that wooded hillside and the sky. For the sky, I'm just going to grab some of the very grayed out, just slightly warm lavender of the clouds, and a little bit of the cerulean blue, just a hint of cobalt blue, clear sky peeking through here and there, and then I'll work my way. For the boats in the background, I'm going to keep that really abstract, just a couple patches of white and other bright color with dark shadow. Not as dark as the foreground will be, though. I don't want the contrast to be too high, but I want to hint at man-made structure, vehicles, not more natural things. And then as I move forward into this focus, the focal point of the painting, this building, I'll bump up the contrast and bump up the color intensity. That'll hopefully give an illusion of depth. And then the foreground, I'm going to keep that really loose, abstract. Try to leave as much of the underpainting as I can, while also capturing the slope and the feel. I have just a few piles of paint, and I'm dipping into that for the majority of the color, but then I'm dipping into pure color once in a while, a little bit of yellow ochre, a little bit of sap green, just to push the colors in that far background slightly just push it around a little bit without changing the value or the intensity too much. Okay, there's the background hill, and it's really tempting to bump up the intensity of those trees. There are layers to the trees. There's deciduous trees, there's far background pine trees, there's near pine trees, and they all have varying shades of intensity, and it's really tempting to bump that up on the painting, but I know if I do, it's going to make it harder for the foreground to read correctly, like it's closer. So I'm going to just leave it at that, pretty grayed out and pretty loose brushwork. Now I'm going to mix up some color for the center of interest, that building. I want to get that yellow gray of the roof where the sun's hitting it. That's the highest value in the scene, except for some of the white on the boats. The white on the boats is really bright because it's pure white fiberglass, really bright. I don't know if I want that to be the brightest thing in this scene though. I think I may want the parts of that old tin roof on the building there to be the lightest light. Maybe the door on the right hand side, maybe that'll be the lightest light. Not quite sure, I'll have to play with it. The sun is hitting that right hand side of the building stronger than the shadow side facing us. At least it is for now. As the sun shifts across behind me, that may change. But for now, the most intense light is the roof. The next intense light is the right side of the building, and then last is the side facing us. So I want to mix up the colors to kind of reflect that. Then I'll work into the pier itself, which is all a series of warm browns and grays, darker in value, and then into the water. As I mix up these colors, I'm checking against what I'm seeing in reality, especially for the color itself. For the value, I'm referring to what I already have down on the panel. I want to make sure that things read well. So if I need to lighten, I'll add a little bit of white, but white can turn it cool, so I may add a little bit of yellow ochre to bring up the warmth as I add light. If I need to darken, I'll add a little bit of ivory black or cerulean blue. Again, those can cool the color a lot, so if I need to, I'll add a little bit of alizarin crimson or burnt umber, burnt sienna, some of the warmer colors to bring the warmth back. getting close now. I just need to grab the color notes from the foreground. You can see the water's come in a bit. Tide's coming in. We're on the sound here, which is actually fed by the ocean, so it does shift with the tide. Got a few colors, more vibrant, more contrast for the rocks and the moss on the beach. The moss is pretty much covered up by the water now, but I can remember it was a bright sap green with a lot of cat orange, so that's what I mixed up and dropped that in the foreground. It may be too bright, I may need to tone it down later, but I want to throw it down and see what it looks like. I like how the kind of drip pattern and the randomness worked out under the building there. I think that works pretty well. I do want to darken it down a bit. It's glowing too much under there, but I don't want to ruin that shadow pattern. So I think I'll just do a few marks in there just to try, and then I may leave the rest of it to finish up in the studio. I also may want to darken those windows in the building a little bit when I get to the studio. I want to go ahead and try to wrap it up now, so I don't want to do too much real tight detail work here. I don't want to lose the freshness of the painting. The sun's come out from behind the clouds now, changing the scene a lot. Time to wrap it up. Beautiful day here on the water. Really enjoyed it. Well, here's how it ended up. A lot of glare on it right now. The sun is broken out and throwing a lot of light on the panel, so not sure how this is going to come out on the video. I think the building's pretty successful. I do like how it's really loose brushwork with the underpainting showing through. I think the background hill needs a little bit of tuning up. It's not quite reading like layers of trees on a hill, so I'll work on that a bit in the studio. I also want to darken up some of this a bit under the building and maybe put this plane of the building into more shadow. Yeah, I got the feeling of the place down, I think, and I took down some color notes and really enjoyed the afternoon. I liked using the squeegee. That was a good idea from Charlie Hunter. I'll probably do that again when I'm doing paintings with architecture. I'll take it back to the studio and clean it up a bit, throw it out on the website. As always, thanks so much for joining me. If you like these videos, please like and subscribe.